Hey Stampers, Rachel here from Rachthestamper, and I'm going to show you how to make this really simple happy birthday card. We're going to change it to a happy retirement card, but it's a really easy card, tone on tone. It's got some really cool in color. Is this in color? No, this is the Country Woods DSP, just happens to match. I was going to use the in color, but I used it for these little pieces here. Super cool. Just pick a color. As a matter of fact, I want to show you one other thing that I did with this card. If you wanted to, you could even get extra fancy, stamp this, stamp it again, and kind of pop it up, which would be really, really cool. But I think this is a really great card. You could do it with oranges, everything in oranges. I still haven't perfected this. I've seen so many of these though, but doing this with this colored in, I just haven't gotten to that point yet. So I'm going to have to do a little more research, but I saw a really cool card where it had blue ocean, like a little bit of color in the sky, blue clouds. That one is another one that I want to work on, but this is a really great card that's super simple to make. This uses the Happy Place stamp set. Unfortunately, remember, the rubber stamps are going to be going away, so if you want to get this, you better get it before it's gone. I think it's super fun because it has so much detail in that stamp. I love it. And that's why I love red rubber. I'm going to miss them. So we're going to make this instead. We're going to do Happy Retirement. So for this card, we are using Night of Navy. Everything's Night of Navy ink, Night of Navy paper. I do have the Country Woods DSP. This measures I think it's 4 1/4. Yes, because it goes exactly 4 1/4. This piece is 2 inches. This piece is 1 inch. These are going to be torn because they're supposed to look like waves going up. Pretty cool. But you're going to tear this. And then I have some, I think there's 2 little pieces in here. This was just an extra piece. This is the only thing that's different on this. This is Secret Sea. And you can see because it does match this. Secret Sea is a new color, which is really cool. It would look great in this as well. Secret Sea is like a navy black crossover. Great. But this is the 6x6 in color DSP. And I just have 2 1/2-inch strips that we're going to add to our Happy Birthday panel. And our Happy Birthday panel measures 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. So 2 1/2, 4 1/4. It's going to be the full thing. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of your 1/2 inch. I do have to trim this, but you're going to take this and glue it to the top and bottom. I feel like it just needed a little something, and then that part is just popped up on a dimensional. So probably the most important part of this card is, if you are trying to be a paper conserver, is to make sure that this is lined up straight and that you really like where you have your sentiment prior, and making sure, I guess, that it's straight prior to stamping. Because if you do it crooked, then you have to do it again. So we're going to start with our Night of Navy. And I'm actually going to flip this over and ink it down. That way I make sure I get a really good inking. And I'm going to try my best not to blink into the camera. I'm trying to be, hopefully I'm straightening, doing this nice and straight. It is where it is now. We can't go back. You can always turn the paper over, but... Oh, nice job. And then I'm going to do the same with Retirement. Just checking to make sure it's nicely inked. And I'm going to line that up again on a square. This would be a good retirement card. You know, a lot of people who retire either move to Florida, or they have a beach house, or they're in Myrtle Beach, or they golf, or maybe they're lucky and they go to Hawaii. Who knows? Any of those things sound pretty nice to me. So that's all you really need your ink for. Again, so everything pretty much except for that one DSP is Night of Navy. You can obviously add anything you'd like to the inside, but we're going to forgo that part for right now. I did not really score this paper very well. What was I thinking? Sorry, that's why you have a bone folder. You just crease it and move on. So I do have a panel for the inside. I usually just stick this in here until I decide who I'm giving it to or whatever it is that I need. But we also need to do our paper tearing. So again, because these layers are going to be going together, you don't really need to take a lot off. But the white part kind of looks wave-like. So there's one. And then this piece is the 2-inch piece. You probably could also alter how you did these size-wise. Maybe if you don't have that much paper, and just use something a little smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together, and then we will layer this on. And we will layer our other little 1/2-inch pieces of DSP onto the back of our sentiment. So they have released, Stampin' Up! I should say, have released their... Oh, come on, glue. Their last group of red rubber stamps. So anything that is out now is out while supplies last. They said they're not going to be making any more red rubber stamps. However, maybe, this is just me thinking, this is absolutely brainstorming, not anything that they said, so please don't take it that way. Maybe every once in a while, maybe they'll make something like as a special promo. That'd be a good idea. They could do something maybe limited edition and like, hey, it's going to be back for this one thing in red rubber. That will be a cool idea. It would keep people, I think, happy, because I think most people that are in stamps, ink, and paper probably got there by red rubber at some point. And I just think red rubber stamps better, in my professional opinion. And I also really liked the distinctive stamps, and they cannot do those with photopolymer. So that kind of is a bummer. So we're just going to chop this off. I was just trying to make sure it's straight for the most part. I do have a little bit of glue here. So I'm just going to grab my yucky scissors that I don't care if they get glue on them. Let's see. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to just chuck this, and we just need to add the rest of this. So this we are going to put dimensionals onto. And you don't really need a ton. I'd say maybe like 8. Look at that. 8 would be a great number. And then we're going to glue this onto the bottom. So definitely make sure you have glue to the edge. That way your stuff doesn't come apart. And we will move this over front and center. And we're just going to put this at the bottom. So what I tend to do is, when I do something that I really want it precisely lined up, I kind of flip it over, because I feel like I can see the bottom just a little better. Oh, my inside fell out. And that looks nice. We're going to stick that in there. And then we just have to figure out our placement. Now it lines up really nice, so you really just have to figure out how much you want it from the top and the bottom. But sometimes when you have dimensionals, occasionally, oh, these dimensionals, these are some old paper pumpkin dimensionals. And man, the backs of these suckers are vicious. Let's see if I can get these off. But sometimes when you have something that is up on dimensionals and it's a rather large piece, sometimes you can use the insurance of having a little bit of liquid glue, because it gives you just a tiny bit of mobility in case you feel like, yep, you messed something up. So I'm going to show you. I'm pretty sure I've showed you this before, but maybe you're new here and you've never seen this. But what you do is you just take just a teeny little bit of liquid glue, just a little bit. It doesn't need to be, it's just basically enough to just make sure that it has movability. And then, so say you're going to line this up and you really don't like where it is, it just gives you that little bit to be able to be flexible and slide it. So that is it. Fun card. Super easy. Again, I'm sure you have a ton of designer series paper. Now, granted, maybe the waves wouldn't look exactly the same because they're not going to be blue, but still, really cool. You can make these for so many people. Retirement, birthday, place, lifetime. Look at this. You know somebody gets a beach place. Gotta love it. And you know what? I'm glad the stamp has a hey y'all, because I am definitely a y'aller from time to time, even though I live in Maryland. But I have enough southern relatives that sometimes the y'all comes out and people are, where are you from? Yeah, Maryland. I'm from Maryland. I just like to say the word y'all because it's more fun. So I hope you learned something new today. Hopefully you found something interesting. If you haven't, I'm sorry. I'm sure I've got another video that you might learn something. Maybe I've run out of things to teach you. But I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. If you have a minute, I would love for you to like, subscribe, follow, and share. This is probably one of the cards that I've made recently that actually has new product in it. So enjoy. I'm sorry that most of it hasn't been. I've just been using what I have. I'm in my recycling era. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.